Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. It's Haziq and this is Get Ziki, and today I'll be sharing with you some of the things that you can do to increase your repetitions in pull-ups. And if you haven't achieved your first pull-up, this is how you're going to achieve your first pull-up. Now, first tip is to pull up. I mean, if your goal is to pull up, stop thinking, oh, I need to strengthen my arms, I need to go do some push-ups, carry some weights. No. Your goal is to do a pull-up, you got to pull. Anything you do, if you forget everything else that I'm going to say in today's video, just remember, you want to train for your pull-ups, you got to pull. Alright, tip number 2 is frequency and volume. Frequency. Make sure you're training for pull-ups at least 2 to 3 times a week so that your muscles get enough stimulation for them to grow and get stronger. Now, next one is volume. You gotta increase the number of pull-ups or the number of repetitions of pulling motions that you're doing every single week. So you can start by just giving yourself a very simple goal. Maybe give yourself a goal of doing 20 pull-ups in a week. Now, once you're done with that, the next week you can increase the number to 25 pull-ups that week or 30 pull-ups in that week. Doesn't really matter as long as you're slowly and progressively increasing the total number of pull-ups that you're doing in a particular week. Now, you gotta always be challenging yourself, so every single week you want to increase the number of reps to increase your volume. And as a beginner in calisthenics, as a beginner in pull-ups, this is one of the best ways that you can actually improve and get more reps for your pull-ups. Now we're going to talk about the actual exercises that you got to do for you to get to your first pull-up and to improve your pull-up game, and that is the Scapula Pulls. Now the Scapula Pull is the first movement that you will do before even bending your elbows and getting yourself up towards the top of the bar. So the Scapula Pull basically is when you pull your shoulders down and away from your ears and engage your lats and your lower traps. Those are the two muscles that are doing the initial pull for your pull-up. Now, if you are unable to do scapular pulls or unable to do scapular pulls correctly, then even if you gain enough strength to do a few repetitions of pull-ups in the future, but because you do not have that foundation of the scapular pull-ups, it's going to hinder you from progressing into all the other more advanced movements in calisthenics. And why not? From the start, do it right. Scapula pulls. Do a lot of them. I mean a lot of scapula pulls. The next thing is to always be pulling as explosively or as fast as you can. Whether you can do pull-ups or not, if you can't do pull-ups, use assistant bands to do your pull-ups. I need you to always pull fast. So even if the actual speed of you moving up and down is not actually fast, but in your mind, you're telling your body to pull as fast as you can, and that's really the fastest that you can pull, you're already pulling fast and pulling explosively. And eventually, as you practice this, you're going to be able to really see results and pull faster. Now, the reason why we want to always pull explosively is because when we train explosively, we increase the power and the strength of that muscle and increase the fast twitch fibers in that muscle, which is more powerful. So for you to be able to achieve your first pull-up, for you to be able to increase the number of reps in your pull-ups, one very important tip is to always pull fast. Now next, now that you've already added speed and power into your training, you gotta slow down what you have sped up. And now we move on to the isometric holds. Now isometric holds means just holding a particular movement without movement. So just hold and stay, okay? So you're gonna control, or rather keep your body in a fixed position where the muscles are contracted in a certain way and do not move. So when you're doing the pull-ups or when you're training for pull-ups, there will be a few levels of holds that you will want to hold. The first is to hold at the top of the pull-up bar, and I call this chin above the bar. This is where you are training the peak contraction of your pulling muscles for the pull-up, which is your lats, your back, your traps, your biceps. That's the peak contraction. That's where the muscle cannot contract anymore. That's where it contracts the most, and you're just going to hold it there with your chin above the bar. Now the next level you're going to hold is the eye at the bar, and then next will be the head at the bar, and then next you're going to lower your head slightly underneath the bar and just hold. Now the reason for holding at so many different levels is because even though we are training the same muscle group, at every angle or every level of the pull-up, the muscle will initiate, or rather the muscle will engage in a different way, it will fire up in a different way. So when you hold at multiple levels, you are training the muscle at different angles, train the muscles differently, and it just makes your pull-up more all-rounded, more strong all the way through from top to bottom. Because at the end of the day, guys, I'm sure you have seen people who can pull very well at the beginning of the pull-up but struggle at the top of the pull-up. Or maybe you've seen the opposite, people who can pull very quickly or very well at the start of the pull-up but can't get themselves all the way to the top of the bar and struggle at the second half of the pull-up. So when we train isometric holds like this, it makes your pull-up strong all the way through. Isometric holds. Our next tip is to control on the eccentric. Now, the eccentric is the portion of the pull-up where you're lowering down towards the ground. Now, some people may call this the negative pull-up. It's the same thing. Basically, you just jump to the top of the bar and try your best to hold yourself up there for as long as you can. And as fatigue and gravity is pulling your body down and away from the bar, you gotta resist, resist, and resist. Now, if you are someone who have not unlocked your pull-ups yet, your negatives might take only 1 second. And for these people, I would usually suggest that you still use an assistant band to do your eccentric, but choose an assistant band that is slightly less assistant than what you would normally do when you're doing repetitions. So let's say you usually use a green color band for wrapping up sets. When you're doing negative pull-ups, maybe you can use a purple or black color band. So at least there is some assistance for you to be able to negative long enough to actually get some gains out of it. If you're just holding yourself there and you have totally no strength to hold yourself and you're just lowering down in less than a second, then I feel personally that that exercise can be made better with assistant bands. So always choose some form of assistance for your negative pull-ups. Alright people, at the end of the day, the pull-up requires you to hang from the bar. And whether you're pulling yourself up to the bar or not, hanging on the bar will require a lot of grip and forearm strength. So as a beginner in pull-ups, one thing that you would like, or rather that you should do a lot, is to hang from the bar. Just hang, just dead hang. It doesn't matter if you're bending your elbows, not bending your elbows. The longer you are able to hang on the bar, the stronger your grip strength is, the more your hanging endurance is, then the chances are you are able to train longer for your pull-ups and you'll be able to do more pull-ups and more reps. So what I will usually recommend to my clients is to end your training, or rather your pull-up training, with a few hanging core exercises. So when you are training for pull-ups, you need to hang. But if you were to just hang and do nothing, it might get boring. So while you're hanging, do a few hanging core exercises like the knee-ups. You can hold the knee tuck. You can do side-to-side knee-ups. You can do many different variations. Just play around with the variations of knee-ups and toe-to bars. And you're going to get your core strong for the pull-up. You're going to also get grip strength and get the endurance to be able to hang longer so that you can train better and be more effective in your pull-up training. And once you have done all the actual pull-up movements, your body will now feel quite fatigued and you might not be able to pull with proper form anymore, but you still can continue to pull and strengthen the muscles in the back and your legs with incline pull-ups. Even if you are more advanced in your practice with pull-ups, you can always add incline pull-ups into your training at the end of the session when you're feeling fatigued, when you no longer have enough strength to do actual pull-ups, do incline pull-ups, because it still targets the pulling muscles, it still targets the back muscles, and it targets them in a different way that just makes your pull-ups all the more stronger. Now when you're doing incline pull-ups, you can either use gymnastic rings, you can use TRX, you can use a lower bar that you can find in a fitness corner near you. Whatever it is, incline pull-ups, really, really good. Alright people, I'm sure that was a lot of information for you to digest, and I'm not expecting you to actually remember everything at one go. So you can pause the video and take a screenshot of this pull-up routine that I've created that you can follow and that you can do on your pull-up workout days. And I would suggest doing 2 to 3 of these workouts in a week, and you'll definitely see results. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope my routine will help you in improving your pull-ups and getting you to your first ever pull-up. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button and subscribe. Show me some support. You gotta turn notifications on because I release a video every single Monday and you won't want to miss it. Till I see you guys again, get out there, unleash your fullest potential, and get Ziki.